Hi, Justin G0KSC, and boy has it been a while. It looks back to be around 2 years since the last video that I produced for YouTube. So apologies for that. I know I said this the last time I produced a video, which was a long gap, but it has been a while, and it's due to workload and life and everything else besides. However, the reason that we're back now, and the reason that we have the chance to do some more of these videos, is thanks to Moonraker. Moonraker Online is a ham store in the UK. You can find them at moonrakeronline.com, and also on their YouTube channel, Moonraker Online, via the normal search that you would do on YouTube. And on that, you will find a number of videos from me. I'm doing some stuff on certain products of theirs, even things like how to put certain plugs and sockets onto cables and things. So that's partly what I'm doing on behalf of Moonraker on here. Also doing, they're giving me the chance to be able to do my stuff again and bring you up to date pretty much with where we are in terms of antenna development and what's new in the antenna field, both in terms of the actual designs themselves, but also, and more importantly in some respects, the software that there is to be able to model accurately those antennas before we build them. So please do look up Moonraker Online on YouTube. Follow and like if you can. That would really make a big difference to us, as they are the supporter and sponsor. And hopefully you're going to be very appreciative of the content that we've got. Now, what I've done, I've made a few notes here so I can look through and read through some of the bits and pieces that we're going to cover over the coming months and hopefully years also. So there's lots of subjects to cover. One of the ones that I'm going to touch back on again, which is an old one which we did originally when it first came out, is NEC 5 or NEC 5. There's been a lot of developments in that. We're up to version 13, I think. There were some initial issues with that, and now it's pretty damn solid. Now, there's a couple of things here with NEC 5. You can use that in the latter versions of EasyNEC, and this can be imported and used on older models. There are some important considerations to make when, if you like, importing newer models or reconstructing those newer models from older models that would have been using NEC 2 and NEC 4. Namely, that you need much more in terms of segmentation density than on the original versions. So if you're using 20 segments per half wave, that's not going to give you accuracy from an NEC 5 or NEC 5 perspective. It will need to be much higher, and for me, I've found the sort of sweet spot in terms of the length of time that the model takes to give you a result and accuracy is around 60 to 66 segments per half wave. That's the first thing. The second thing is that NEC 5 uses even segmentation in order that the feed point will be put right in the middle of the dipole. So even if it's only even segmentation on the dipole itself, you can vary it all the way through. There are a number of important notes with regards to segmentation between the old versions and the NEC 5, which I'll cover as we go forward. But there is another package which I'm going to talk about and give some examples of use, and also talk through some of the setup, editing and operation of, which is AN-SOF, which is an antenna simulation software. Now this one is unlike EasyNEC, which is now no longer supported. AN-SOF is a very powerful product. It uses the methods of moment concept, which is the same as NEC, but it's not NEC. It doesn't use NEC 5, NEC 4 or anything like that. It uses its own software, but it's also been developed in its own right too, so it has some very powerful and advanced features. For instance, if you was doing a spiral or a cone, then, and this was using the NEC 5 model, it would be made up of lots of straight wires, whereas on AN-SOF you can have curved wires. So there's a lot of enhancements that that product has got. Like NEC 5, from the experimentations that I've been doing, you need to use a fairly dense segmentation density, but also AN-SOF uses odd segmentation rather than even like NEC 5. So when transitioning from one software to the other, you need to have that in mind. The next thing on that is you can do a direct import, as it were. You have to save in NEC or .NEC, save any antenna files in .NEC, and then you can directly import them into AN-SOF. So that could be from 4NEC2, it could be from EasyNEC, but you can directly compare the results between the two. Now, interestingly, up to 70 centimeters, or at least on 2 meters and 222, if I use the same number of segments per half wave, the results in AN-SOF and the EasyNEC, we're using NEC 5, are almost identical. And the exact replication of real world is phenomenal. It is absolutely excellent. It does highlight when you switch between NEC 5 and NEC 4 using the old NEC program, you can really highlight some of the issues that are compounded on the old flaws of NEC 4. For instance, tapered element correction was much better in NEC 4. However, when you got up to 6 meters, for instance, a 50 megahertz band, and you're still using tapered elements, then the accuracy would start to wane off. If you had close spaced elements within the antenna with those tapered elements, that's another flaw. When they're presented in the same antenna, then the errors start to shift even further away. And finally, when you've got tapers and bends, as you would have in an LFA loop, then things really start to go pear-shaped. So what that would translate to is on a 50 megahertz LFA that has tapered elements, a tapered loop, and the sharp bends in the corners, then there could be 400 or 500 kilohertz difference between the NEC 4 representation and the NEC 5 representation. So it's a really vast difference. But that's not just it. There are some other issues as well. As well as obviously there being a shift in the frequency, that means that the element sizes need to be slightly longer when presented in NEC 5 than what they would be in the NEC 4 version, and that's what it would translate to in the real world. Also, because of this close spaced element issue within NEC 4, it means that the representation of the reflector and D1 within NEC 5 is showing that they're slightly small. So the reflector would have to increase in size, plus D1, and then all of the elements increase. And when you make those adjustments, you'll re-establish the model similar to what it looks like in NEC 4, but then when you replicate it in the real world, you will see that you do actually have the front to back ratio that's represented in the model. So that's there's a lot to speak about there, and that's a very short summary, but we'll go over those comparisons and differences in detail. So I've got a lot of examples which I'm going to cover with new antennas, and I'll do them in both products. And also for anybody that's looking at AN-SOF, from a commercial standpoint, you have to buy it. I think at the last look it was $200 to $300 was the cost, and that is a perpetual license in the sense that you're going to have to pay that yearly. However, that's assuming that you wish to have the support. The support is excellent. If you're not sure of how to do something, Tony will come back to you and give you the rundown and tell you exactly how it's done. If after the first year, after you've purchased it, you don't want to renew it that year, the software will still run fine. You just won't get any updates or any support. The updates are excellent. It takes a great deal of notice of what the user community is feeding back, and I've given Tony myself lots of recommendations. Partly some of those are due to what functionality there has been in EasyNEC and some of the wish lists that I would have had for EasyNEC, and he's picked those up and put those into the product, which has made it far better. So there's a lot there to take in. Perhaps an initial larger outlay if it's just for hobby use, but you don't have to take out the subsequent licenses year on year with the support costs. So bear that in mind. I'm going to be doing some design showcases as well, some of the newer antennas. What's perhaps not visible straight away from a lot of people is the G0KSC site carries my early work from sort of 15 years ago. There's a lot of development since then, and I've only been up until now releasing newer models commercially through Innov Antennas. Likewise, on the VE7BQH GT tables, I haven't placed any new ones on there for years, simply for the fact that there's no point of me updating those models on Lionel's list until there's something that's better than the LFAs in terms of GT and temperature, etc., or antenna temperature. So when that happens, then I'll update those and put newer versions on. But I'm going to share some of these with you and show you why they are better antennas and what the differences are between the two. This includes some new designs for dual and multi-band antennas, which give a greater deal of capabilities and functionality and performance compared to more traditional multi-band antennas. So what else is there? The last thing I've got on that list to speak about today is any wish lists that you have. If you've got a particular design that you want to see in software, some issues or comparisons that you would like to draw, then fire them to me in the comments below, or send me an email at justin@g0ksc.co.uk. And if there's enough interest in and enough people ask for it, I'll make them into a video and we'll run through them. So that's it for now. Hopefully that's encouraging for you, and we'll find some more content to add on here, which I hope that you're going to be very interested in. So until the next time, see you then.